questions were asked about leadership and where do the students and where does it come from, and it is very important to have that vision, and our city is living it every single day, and it comes in the genesis of this started from our school district, and it continues to be something that we're just not talking about, that we're actually living and doing every single day. Our city council member and our city council and our school district have bought into this. It's interesting is one of our city council members actually voted against becoming a character count city. And the question, and this is sometimes some of the things we face, well, character should be taught at home. Character should be taught at home. We shouldn't be doing this as a city. And the answer to that is very simple. Of course, character should be taught at home. Of course, on there, as you heard Mr. Josephson talk about that. But you know what? We also need to live it as a society. We need to promote it, and we need to talk about it, because this is not, this is something that our kids are living 24 hours a day. Down below, there's Dr. Wendy Doty, our school superintendent, that was really the genesis of this. And she started with a citywide coalition that did involve the city at the time, but it involved everybody else. I was asked to serve on it, representing actually the police department. Before I was elected, and today I'm still the chaplain for the Downey Police Department, and I see a lot of different things that are very involved, so she asked me to join that coalition. What problems do we have with any of these? How can we not be teaching trust, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship? You know, we have these a part of our culture. It comes from the top, as the gentleman asked earlier on there. It really does. The school district, the city council says we are a character count city. This is what we're going to do about it. Every single teacher in the Downey Unified School District has been trained in character counts. Every single coach and every youth league in the city of Downey, at every school, including all the high schools, there have been taught in pursuing victory with honor. And initially, for some of the leagues, it was actually the stick, okay? But you know what? Wendy Doty, the school superintendent, and I have the big stick. So you know what? That's great. You want to be in our little leagues? You want to be on our AYSO? You want to do all this thing? You don't want to participate in character count? That's great. But guess what? All the parks in the city of Downey are owned by the city of Downey. Guess what? All the place where you play and practice, all the school district, it's owned by, all those schools are owned by the school district. So guess what? You can't participate and use our fields unless you go through this training. And then, of course, it was the big stick to get it going on there, a very small portion of it. But now, of course, it's the carrot and everybody's eating it up because it is working. Crime statistics on there. City of Downey has historically had low crime. And again, with our police officers, we've been budgeting even more. 69% of our general funds budget goes to our public safety, police, and fire, even in this economic times, up from 68% of the general funds. So our crime statistics have been going down since 2006, ever since we started character counts in our city. And through July 2009, all crime is down 12%. 2007 was actually the very first year, 15% drop in crime. Yeah, last year we had a little bit in the property crimes area on there, but you know what? This is something that we've worked really hard at, and we continue. We feel this is a direct correlation to that. Okay. Making it count. This is just some of the pictures. The one middle picture here that I think is really important. We have a Kids Day. We have a Kids Hall of Fame. And that picture is only a small portion of it, of 3,000 kids out of the 6,000 that were nominated for the Kids Hall of Fame. Every single one of those kids received an award and became a member of the Kids Hall of Fame. And you can see the pillars behind there, the Downey Theater. I shook every one of those kids' hands. I talked to every single one of them. They all came to Kids Day the following Saturday. And every single one of those kids on there, one of the reasons they made it, they were able to talk about what character counts mean to them. And they took a pillar and they had to write an essay about that. You know, signage throughout the city. It's not just signage. It's living the culture. It's talking about it every single day. So far this week, this is Thursday, I've talked to 4 different schools in the last 3 days, 300, 500, 800 kids, talked to the high schools, and about character counts just this week alone on there. But we continue to do that, obviously, this week being Character Counts Month, and we had a proclamation of the City Council. But some of the things you see here, and that picture there on the right-hand side, I put that in there in this PowerPoint. The nice little lady in the middle, there's Dr. Mary Stauffer. She's 96 years old. Dr. Mary Stauffer on there annually gives $100,000 in scholarships to the 2 high schools in Downey High School and Warren High School. Dr. Stauffer is funding a character counts position within the school district for $60,000 the last 3 years. Okay, so sometimes it takes that. This person on there, Mary Jo Engert, has been able to train train the teachers, has been able to be the teacher that we need to be able to continue to promote that. The kids know it. 2 weeks ago, the city council, we had 2 sports teams that came in, one from Downey, one from Nine. I asked the kids on there, okay, how many of you from Downey schools? And half of them raised their hand. I go, give me the pillars of character counts. And every single Downey kid, at least they were able to recite some of that. So you could tell the kids that aren't living in the city of Downey on there because they know it, they live it, they talk about it. Every school kid in the entire city of Downey, including high schools, and we have 22,000 kids in the city of Downey, whenever they go sent to the principal's office, sent for the office for something that they did or might have a misjudgment, okay, very first thing that they're asked in their counseling meeting on there, which character counts pillar do you think you violated? Okay, we have to live it every single day. Aspire, we have this program for after school, program for inspiration, recreation, and education. Okay, part of that curriculum is character counts, a big part of that curriculum, and it's hosted at these schools, obviously in partnership with our school district. And there's 1,200 after school kids that are just starts off with character counts, finishes off with homework, comes back to character counts, then they go outside and play while waiting for their parents. Suspension days. Look at the numbers here. It's just absolutely fantastic. The numbers of suspension days since the first year that we started character counts. And Dr. Robert Jaleski on there, our Director of Pupil Services in the city of Downey on there, had given me some of these numbers the other day when I talked about it. And him and I have talked at length. This is working, folks. This is absolutely working and when you continue that. So those are the statistics that people are looking for. We know it's working because of all the other things in our city. We know it's working because of the feeling. We know it's working because of the kids. We know it's working because we have to teach this. We don't have a choice. We need to continue to have this as a legacy for our children. But here's the statistics that everybody wants to see. Exposure and referrals. And we've always historically have a lot of exposure and referrals on there just because we've been a very aggressive school district and we have very little tolerance for misbehavior and so forth. But look at the numbers on there. The numbers speak for themselves. And over certain year periods on there, we had a 42% drop and an 82% drop over 4 years. This is part of the coalition, and this is really, really important. And it's not significant that the city of Downey is on the top and the Downey Unified School District is there. They both could be at the bottom holding it up, and they both can be at the top. The leadership and the commitment from the community has to happen. Every single one of those school board members there is living it. Okay, the city council has told the staff that we want to live this. The staff is living it. Now, from our community services department that attends all these coalition meetings, all the service organizations from Kiwanis to Rotary. Downey's a pretty special place, and it starts off some of those things. We have 92 churches in our city. We have 15 service organizations. So we are a community of volunteers. But folks, we have to be aggressive, and we need to be part of a coalition. We have this Gangs Out of Downey. We have zero tolerance for gangs, and we have a graffiti hotline number on there that gets calls every single day. 923-4484 is a graffiti hotline number, and I tell that to everybody. Be responsible. Bad guy comes in, wants to tag up our city, we'll paint it tomorrow. You want to come up and tag it up the next day, we'll do that. You want to do it 30 days in a row, we'll go ahead and we'll clean that up 30 days in a row. This is our community. You cannot have our community in our city. This character counts is part of what our community is. This is a big part. We do have that historical legacy to live, and we have the historical legacy of the home of Apollo and the aerospace that happened there in the 20s and the World War II airplanes that were built in the city of Downey that helped the Allied force. We have a huge legacy in the city of Downey. Folks, this is one of the best things that we're going to be able to leave our kids. This is going to transform and change the world, and in one bite of the elephant at a time. My favorite quote is always from Mother Teresa. She says that nobody can do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. Folks, this is a lot of small things with great love that's making it a great love and a great big thing. This makes a difference. This is huge. Every single one of these groups on here is important. It can't happen with just a school district. It can't happen with just one teacher, one school. Okay? It can't happen with one park and so forth. Kids are going to school. They're getting this every day. Then they're going to the parks to play sports leagues afterwards. They're getting this all the time. We're working with our Chamber of Commerce. They go shopping in our community over the weekends. Folks, this is 24 hours a day, and you have to live it. You have to talk about it. You have to do it. It's not signs only. It's not pillars. It's the way of life, and the pursuing victory with honor is such a big part of it because of sports. Our future, I always love this picture. This is actually a real rocket thing we had in one of our parks when I was growing up, and I found this old park on there. It's one of those slide things, because of course we are. And then there's the Columbia. We just dedicated the Columbia Memorial Space Learning Center last Friday in the city of Downey. We put $10 million into a math science and learning center to teach the next generation of explorations and sciences on there. But part of that is also character counts. We want the kids there to learn how to do science. We want them to be able to explore, but we want them all to do it with character counts. So